So this is a good time to get into the Black Wall Street Report with former investment banker and the CEO of Kids Who Bank, an organization that provides financial literacy and training to children in 137 schools nationwide. Please give your attention to the amazing Jatali B. What's going on, lady?
Cheers, lady. I'm just enjoying the winding down of the day. So this
Yeah.
is the perfect way to end my day.
Nice. Nice. Well, I received an email pertaining to
Mhm.
you. It came on SoundCloud from a listener all the way from the Ivory Coast. So I'll read you. I know. Shout out to Africa and everyone listening. So I'll read you this comment and maybe you can answer. It says, "Hello, first of all, thanks so much for this content. I'm a listener all the way from the Ivory Coast. I wanted to tell you, though, that I was honestly a bit confused by the Black Wall Street report this week. Your commentator suggested Japan was an emerging market. This is your report on emerging markets. But Japan is one of the most industrialized countries in the world, so I'm not sure if they can be grouped with the likes of SA. Also, there was a comment about Alibaba being a good play away from China, but Alibaba is Chinese, so I was confused, but we'll go back and re-listen. Maybe I got it wrong. I would also really like to get investment opportunities that are black. Black is written in capital letters. I want to support some black owned listed companies, so an expose on that would be awesome. Keep doing the great work. Love the podcast." That's for you, Jatali.
So to start, first off, I'd like to say cheers to the Ivory Coast. Thank you for listening. I hope the other tips from the emerging market episode were great. To clarify, I did make a couple of slips. I was trying to shorten my lengthy paragraph on the fly, and I obviously didn't do too good on that. But to start, although Japan is not an emerging market, you're correct, and is supposed to have one of the second largest economies. As of the last 4 to 5 years, its current economic issues make it prime for an investor who has always wanted to invest in that market to do so, especially if you're in it for a long term investment. So, to clarify, yes, it's not an emerging market, but I did want to mention it on that episode because it's an international market that if you are looking for someone to invest in, you're looking for a long term investment, I still think that Japan is an amazing one to look at right now. And then, second, in regards to Alibaba, yes, as you all may know, it is definitely a Chinese company. My full statement was supposed to originally be if you are not a fan of China's Tencent company, then invest in China's Tencent's biggest competitor, Alibaba. It wasn't necessarily to say to go away from or stay away from China. It was more to give you a second option within China that is their biggest competitor to Tencent. So thank you so much for reaching out and giving me a chance to clarify that. And my apologies on the slip. And anybody else listening, feel free to always send in any questions that you have. Thank you.
Nice, nice, nice. So, what's your tip for today, Jatali?
So today I would love to discuss 4 asset protection strategies for real estate assets, whether it is a personal home or an investment property.
Okay, great.
All right, so jumping right in. A couple of years ago, I spoke at a real estate seminar by BTRE, and there was this older woman, a retired woman, who discussed having a deed fraud. And she was asked if she had homeowner's title insurance policy. And she said she did not. She didn't even know what that was. And as you can imagine, that always stemmed in the back of my mind as to how could someone own a home or be a real estate investor and not know about that
Mm.
as a protection right, right? When other investors were asking what could have been done to protect your assets or your home or your real estate properties, some answers that were said that day that really stuck with me, even as an investor myself, to protect my properties were this: be sure to have a real estate holding company. That's number one for me. It protects your personal assets from the liability of owning property. It keeps away real estate income separate. And I know that in the US, like Wyoming, Delaware, Nevada, very popular with real estate investors who are forming their LLCs. So that's number one. I would then couple that with a holding company with a land trust, especially for the elderly. You can put restrictive terms on how you hold the property. This also prevents investors or debt collectors from taking the property without it being released from the trust ownership. I love this because you see, for instance, an investor predator can't see who owns a property. The info is private, and debt collectors, same, cannot see who owns a property or see what assets you create. So, like, let's say someone wants to sue Rakia Mays, they can't just put in your name and see every property you own and
Oh,
all the things that you do, which is a
oh.
very good protective thing for
I
yourself.
don't want to be sued. I don't want to be sued.
Well, we're not speaking out to the universe, but if anybody wants to see what kind of money Rakia has, your money is protected.
Okay, good.
Yes. And then last is home insurance. I cannot stress it enough. You just think, hey, customary home insurance is enough. But to give you a prime example, recently I have a friend, they purchased a home, and around the time that Sandy happened, the neighborhood that they purchased in was completely flooded and underneath water. But when
Mm.
they purchased their home, meanwhile, the home had a new basement. They were told that they didn't need flood insurance.
Wow.
The rest of the house is completely old, only the basement was upgraded. And when they were asking about, was there a flood here? What happened? They just kept being told, you don't need flood insurance. You're perfectly fine. They chose not to get it. Don't
Mm.
be that person, because the minute something happens, God forbid another Sandy or whatever happens, you're opening yourself up to the liability of you having to pay for all of that damage, and you're the one who's going to be at a loss. So do your due diligence, and if you can afford it, do all that you can to get the best home insurance that you can. So
Wow.
once again, so if you are a real estate investor, have a holding LLC coupled with a land trust, own titles insurance, owner's title insurance policy, and have home insurance, the best possible home insurance for yourself. Short, sweet, and simple, but 4 ways that can effectively help you protect your home.
Nice. This is good stuff, especially during, this season. And honestly, Murphy's Law, anything can happen at any time. So it's good to be prepared.
Yes, and I mean, I will like to also say that one thing I've noticed is that, especially in this season, people will take out a second mortgage on their home. They rack up debt to purchase gifts or go places for
Mm.
the holidays.
Yeah.
And while you're purchasing and racking up that debt, there are predators who are watching you and are looking in your neighborhood and watching your market closely and waiting for you to slip so that they can try to do these things. And taking it further, some of them are preying on the elderly and trying to do deed fraud and things of that nature. The minute you go out of town and things of that nature,
Right.
just waiting and lurking. Don't be
Mm.
a victim.
Don't be a victim. Thanks, Jatali. Jatali, where can people follow you and get more information?
You can find me on kidswhobank.org, or you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all Kids Who Bank, or email me directly at info@kidswhobank.com.
Wonderful. And shout out to BPA Bites for that comment and that question earlier. I hope that Jatali answered it properly because I'm sure I'll be hearing back from you.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Thanks, Jatali.
All right, you're welcome, lady.